No, there are no mulberry bushes involved.
Well, that's the thing I've always wondered about is why mulberry bush? Because mulberries grow into trees. The only way you can get them to bush is if you chop them off and they come back from the roots.
Talk to the English. They're the ones that started that
I
shit.
know. They chopped them off and it came back from the roots.
Yeah.
If you would like to keep a roof over our heads in one fashion or another, donate here.
As the storms are coming in.
Yeah.
Roof over our heads. If you like coffee, and it's going to be a coffee weekend, King Harvest Imperial Coffees. Be sure you let them know you heard about it from us.
They're running a really good sale
Yes.
this month.
Are they?
So, yes.
Yes.
I need to restock my coffee supply. T-shirts. Everybody needs T-shirts. Among the Leaves tees. Good T-shirts. Let them know you heard about it from us. So you're fixing to go in under the
I'm going under the knife on Thursday. Yes.
machete.
Finally.
I told him we'd lay a gamma goat on to get him out of the hospital.
No.
We like him more than that.
What caliber for frying monkeys?
12 gauge.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, Rick, that new sign for Among the Leaves is courtesy of Nancy.
Nancy. Nancy sent that to us
She does good work.
because she apparently gets offended at some of her signs.
So, yes, I'm going under the knife on Thursday, so 410. That'll work too, Tom.
57 millimeter Colas rifle also works rather well. Or so I've been told.
155 with TOT.
Why?
By what?
Why? That's just a tad overkill.
Have you seen monkeys?
There's no
Yes.
overkill. There is only
Open fire and
And
reload.
reload.
I need to put that poster back up in my office.
Now-
So, yes, I will be having back surgery on Thursday. Time to be D yet.
To be determined.
And I've been jumping through my asshole today trying to get everything done before the surgery, like the blood draw. And the poor little nurse had never heard of Vampire Liberty. And apparently I was not the only one today that said that.
okay. Vampire Liberty.
Apparently, it's if you're in the Navy, offer to donate blood, you get a pass.
Oh yeah,
Well,
we got that in the Army.
yeah, but what you wanted to do, what we did, we had one guy that had AB negative blood. His blood was worth a lot of money.
Oh yeah,
And the fun part was that you would go let them draw blood, take the money, get out in town. So you're short of blood and you're drinking,
Oh, Lord.
When
and keep one guy sober to drive home.
in
So-
Germany, they gave you 2 little bottles of apple wine that were about 7 ounces apiece.
Yeah.
And some cookies and a piece of fruit, I think.
So they draw blood and then they give you wine.
Yes.
This is brilliant.
I did not realize.
shenanigans.
I did not realize that apple wine. How strong can it be?
Oh,
Oh.
I'm 18 years old.
Yeah.
And and it was decent. I mean, it beat Boone's Farm and Strawberry Hill. Hey, I was
So does rubbing alcohol.
yes, as a matter of fact, you're correct.
Yeah.
But so I drank these 2 little bottles of wine.
Yeah.
At the library, at the base library,
Like you do.
and I was reading whatever book I was reading there, and they found me under the table.
Yeah.
I
You
was
know-
gone.
Oh, yeah.
so I went and I spent Memorial Day weekend with my son on base in Groton, Connecticut.
Yeah.
Which was interesting because I was staying in a hotel on base.
Yeah.
Did not have a base access pass.
Yeah.
So it was, unless he was with me, I was in my room.
Yeah.
The other thing that was interesting is it's a steam powered base.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And they had shut the steam off.
Of course. April 15th gets cut off.
My little Texas ass was freezing. The room was like 60.
Well, what's even more fun is October the 15th when they turn the heat on
Yes. Yeah, he was telling me that they had issues with that.
in
Darling-
Texas.
Darling, I love you, but you do not have a little Texas ass.
Yeah.
But-
She is very short.
The other fun part of this morning was this little nurse obviously had her canned speech, you know. So she flops this bottle of antibacterial soap down and goes, and you need to use this for the 4 days preceding your surgery.
Oh, that's dumb.
And I went, oh, that's nice. And she kind of looked at me and I said, surgery is Thursday. She says, all right, 3 days starting tonight. And don't put it on your privates. Don't put it on your face. Don't put it on your hair.
Challenge accepted.
Why? And she said, read the label. Oh, never mind. Okay.
So if
Yeah.
you see Jim Bald come Thursday, we know why.
Yeah.
What I was going to say about the kid, though, that my little sailor, he does not drink.
Yeah.
So he has become the designated driver.
Yet.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't drink, and at this point, it has become a thing. Of he will not. He doesn't like the taste. He never has.
Yeah.
He knows how to cook with it. We used to do that, but I let him taste alcohol, and he's got a very sensitive sense of taste. Like he would say milk was going off before
Yeah.
I could smell it. So alcohol for him is like uncomfortably,
Yeah.
it's nasty. But he's now the designated driver, and he has discovered that this is not fun.
Yeah.
Because all his buddies want to go out and
He
get
hasn't learned.
sloshed.
He hasn't
Yeah.
learned yet.
They all go out and get sloshed, and then he's the one that has to corral them to get back. And in one case, pour them back into their room.
Oh, yeah.
We had conversations.
If
Yeah, Rick, that's-
if he's not double charging for gas,
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't have a vehicle
how's he
just
the
had a-
designated driver?
because he's got a driver's license, and other people have vehicles they want to go drink.
Yeah.
But they don't want to drive while they're drunk because they actually have some brain
Again,
cells.
again, once they get snockered, you start passing a hat for gasoline money.
I will tell him that.
Yeah, Rick, decontaminate the front, surgery's on the back, medical insanity. You got that right.
Well, I'm just thinking that when you're done, they got to put those 2 jacks in your back,
Yeah.
and we can walk you out like Frankenstein.
Yeah. Yeah, John says they need to buy him dinner. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be assuming that they were eating anything other than just drinking.
Right.
Pandos,
And it's like
pandos.
my kid enjoys things like museums and the botanical
Yeah.
gardens, and he's got one guy that likes museums,
Yeah.
but likes drinking more. Because like the two of them were talking about going to Boston, and he's like, I don't really want to know if I want to deal with him drunk all the way home from Boston.
Car got a trunk.
I don't know what Knowles' car looks like, but yes.
It's got a trunk.
Rick says it sounds like he needs to develop a convenient headache when the boys want to go out pub crawling.
I told him he needs to make friends that don't drink.
That's going to be hard to find.
And
in
no,
the-
you
Yeah,
weren't going to find that.
I am aware. of
Charge
that.
them for fuel.
Yeah.
Pass the hat.
Uh,
But
Well-
we took a taxi. Double up then.
Yeah.
chauffeuring people. Chauffeurs get paid well, or
Yeah.
should.
Yes.
Yeah, sailors. Rick's got that one dead on the money.
Yeah.
Sailors in school are barely legal. They're going to drink. Yes.
Yeah. Well, his best friend is 24, that he went through boot with. Now that kid's going off to Guam, so he won't be around for a couple more months. But as Johann shifts and goes to his boat, they'll have a whole new set of.
Oh, yeah.
I was entertained because you may be aware of this term, but I was not. So their LPO on the boat, they have a word or a term for that.
Yeah.
The C dad.
Yeah. See,
And when the boys were first saying it, it sounded like it was one word, and I was trying to figure out what they were,
Yeah.
what acronym they were saying. But I think it's a cute name.
Yeah.
And very traditional, goes back a long
yeah,
way.
and you hope to hell you get a good one
Yeah.
because there are good ones and there are bad ones.
Well, as soon as Johann
My
reached out
mom
to
called
his,
you cute.
I did not say that. As soon as Johann reached out to his boat, once he got orders, the LPO that was assigned to him from the boat reached out to him and actually took him out to dinner.
Yeah.
Which sounds fancy, but then Johann says they went to Denny's. So
Yeah.
Nope, that's about right.
Well, it's better than going to McDonald's or Starbucks.
Right.
Can't
Yeah.
find a Waffle House.
And
I
there's no
suppose-
Waffle Houses in Connecticut.
I suppose Denny's will do.
Johan's a little sad. There are no Waffle Houses anywhere near Connecticut.
Yeah, Rick makes the point, and it's true. The division LPO usually is your seat daddy,
Yeah.
but it may not be.
Yeah, I don't know yet, and I'm not sure
Yeah.
Johan knows yet because he's still got school.
Well, and it
So-
it also depends on the makeup of the squadron or the boat.
Yeah. Well, I guess the entire division that's there because the boat's in dry dock,
Yeah.
so they're not doing anything. So the entire division plans to show up for his graduation from A
Yeah.
school.
Oh, that could be fun.
Yeah, Johan was a little.
I could just see them there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's exactly it. Well, he graduates from A school, and then he's got 3 or 4 weeks of his ETV school.
Yeah.
And then he's on the boat, but the
Yeah.
boat isn't going anywhere.
I
So that's going to be interesting.
I had flashbacks to getting my blood wings.
Yeah.
And
The boys were talking about that when we did the Nautilus Museum. All 3 boys, and I'm calling them boys, but they're like 21,
Yeah.
24, and my kid's only 19. And also Knowles and Sparks are gigantic. They're more than a foot taller than me.
They're too tall
Yeah.
to be submariners, but they are.
Doing the Nautilus tour with them was entertaining.
No, I bet it was.
But they were all 3 telling me that they actually are now looked at for the scars, and if they could find the
Yeah.
scars from that, they get in huge trouble.
Yeah.
It is not okay anymore. And it is not done, and they will actually inspect your chest for the scars.
Yeah.
So that was like, wow.
The scars go away after a while,
Yeah.
and it's been long enough.
They blend into the
You
other
remember
ones.
the pain, but the scars themselves leave.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, Rick makes a good point. Cobb, the chief of the boat, is nobody's sea daddy. He's too damn busy doing other things, mostly sitting in the goat locker drinking coffee.
And Ian, it's not bad unless you have to pry one of those prongs out of a bone.
Okay. You remember in the 80s
Tom says some scars go to the bone.
where we used to keep our rank?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right over the collarbones.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Congratulations, Sergeant. Wow.
And
And you get-
everybody got to do it.
And you get that whether or not it's an official sergeant or whether it's acting jack. You
Yeah.
still get it at acting jack.
Mhm.
And when you get pinned back to spec 4 after being acting jack, they'll do it to you again.
Yeah.
And like I said, prying those damn pins out of the bone.
Padre says, "What's this military coming to? I got blood rank for PFC."
So,
Padre, it's not the military that you grew up in, much less the one that we grew up in. Trust me.
I mean, heck, when I was in Civil Air
you're
Patrol,
no
we had
longer
to be
leg. Pow.
when I was in Civil Air Patrol, we had to be talked to because we were not supposed to do
Yeah.
that, but evidently some cadets did.
Oh yeah,
It's definitely more a guy thing than
Had to pry jump wings out of my chest. Had to
Yeah.
pry rank out of my. What the hell?
Yeah.
I
Oh,
can't do that to somebody else. What the hell? It's not fair. It's not fair.
Res One says, "So happy I got my Vice Noir in story before the gun." Yes. Anytime you get one in on time, that's a good thing.
Yeah, and look, I mean, here's the thing with sending us stories. We are at the point where we are getting masses
No,
of
no kidding.
great stories.
No kidding.
It's fun for me because I just finished up reading through for Goblin Soup.
Yeah.
And Ian's working on Vice Noir. But it's fun for me because it used to be that I could pull a whole bunch of stories open and read just the first few
Yeah.
paragraphs, and
Mhm.
I'd have a bunch of no's because dear God.
Yes.
That has
Matter of fact.
actually gotten less, I think. I'm seeing
I'm getting.
the higher standard.
So far, I've got fewer instant no's, but they're stronger instant no's.
Oh, and
Well, I did have a couple that were just wildly off theme.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
And it's like this. Yeah, no.
John sent his book in yesterday.
Yes.
I know. I got it.
I have it. I am looking forward to
And-
reading it for cover.
Jay Kenton has his first of his serials up.
Yes.
Kiss for Damocles.
Yeah.
Guys,
Really, JK? You used Shifinanin?
Shy. Let's say
What a
hi.
freaking first name.
I
Really?
know. Okay,
God.
so I'm gonna talk about Pierce's book here because I just spent the last day and a half working on getting it all set up for layout, because I'm the one that makes the books pretty. Sometimes it's Nick, but mostly it's me. And I'm the only one doing novels right now. Pierce's book is a very well developed world.
Yeah.
And I mean, this man has thought about this for years, and you can tell it, and it's smooth and it's immersive, and he makes up words.
Yeah.
So when I uploaded the full novel to Amazon to get it ready for the release at the end of the month, Amazon had kittens.
Solid gold kittens.
Yeah, it's,
So
I'm
I had
sorry,
to go
that's-
through and be like, no, it's not a misspelling.
Yeah.
It's not a misspelling. It's because, well, and Amazon will occasionally have issues with just like more obscure words.
Yeah.
Amazon just has issues.
Eh, but I mean, and this isn't an AI thing. Amazon's been doing this since I started publishing with them back in 2012. So
Issues? Don't you mean volumes?
Subscriptions.
yeah.
well, the thing is, and it's been a sore point for me ever since I started reading.
Mhm.
It's these friggin' made up names
Well, okay.
that you spend.
Shafeninin is not a made up name, actually. It's Irish.
That doesn't
Oh,
surprise
I feel for that poor girl.
me. That doesn't surprise me.
But you sit there and it for me it throws me out of the story because I'm sitting there trying to figure out how in the hell do you pronounce
Right.
this?
Can you pronounce it?
Can you pronounce it? Much
Yeah.
less am I
It's-
going to remember it.
It's Irish. You didn't pronounce it right.
Here's-
There-
yeah,
there's
yeah.
there's an Irish name, Siobhan.
Yeah.
Which is spelled SIOB.
HAN.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
there's like B's and D's. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's Gaelic.
I-
I don't know.
I have a cousin named Neve.
Yeah.
Niamh.
Yes.
Yeah, that one threw me for
Yeah.
years. I had no idea how to
Yeah.
pronounce that.
Well, there's a name that has become an English name, Myrna.
Yeah.
There was a famous actress named Myrna. I can't think of what her name was.
Mona Loy.
Probably.
Yeah.
But and there's another named Myra, and they both coming out of the Irish names, and the spellings of them look nothing like the pronunciations.
Yeah.
Kiva. Neve's sister's named Kiva. Yeah, I can't spell that one.
Well,
I like Rick's idea. Live at one and move on. Yeah, that works.
I mean, what I have to say though is that Pierce actually handles it well because it gets shortened to shy and then
Yeah.
stays that way. So you're not trying to stumble over it.
I
There's
know,
a-
but it just
Yeah.
there's
Another author that has a series name, and there is a long, impossible word that I couldn't begin to pronounce or spell for that matter. And I'm looking at it going, my dude.
Yeah.
Why?
There was a writer that sent me a book to read, and she had a character named Anne, A-N.
Yeah.
Which was it's a perfectly legitimate Vietnamese
Chinese
name.
name, Chinese Vietnamese. Yeah.
But for an American trying to read it, and N is a word in English, just put another N on it so it doesn't drive people nuts.
Well, I don't think it's pronounced like that though.
Yeah, it
That's-
is. It's Ann.
Is it Anne? Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was Anne or
'Cause-
on.
One of the ones that I know is Ann Locke,
Mm-hmm.
who was Arvin.
Yeah.
He was a helicopter pilot. And his name is A-N space L-O-C.
Oh, well, okay. So the kicker to this is that the story that was sent to Sanford for beta
Yeah.
reading, the character was neither Vietnamese nor Chinese and female. It's not right.
Okay.
It kept throwing me out of the story to the point where I could not give a beta read for
Yeah.
it because it threw me out of the story.
Yeah.
And names, I mean, names are important. I generally have characters arrive in my head with a name.
Yeah.
Side characters, I have random name generators that I use for them.
I do too, but I throw out the ones that are absolutely friggin' unpronounceable.
Well, I was going to say, I'm actually working on a story right now, and the character arrived with a name. The problem is he also has a title, and the two of them together are not a good combination.
Yeah.
The character is Tom, and he is the uncle to the main characters who are the boys.
Uncle Tom.
Right. And I'm like, I'm going to have to change his name.
Yeah.
You have to think about these things when you're writing.
Yeah, Res one, that's even better. I gotta put this one up.
Hmong name means
Yeah.
pigeon.
Ungwa.
It's tonal.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, Hmong is very tonal.
Yeah, and when you get into the tonals, you're
Well, what I
There's the
have a
languages
tendency,
I could never manage.
what I had tendency to do if I'm reading, especially fantasy, where
Yeah.
they got all the made up names, the guy's name is Jahn.
Yeah.
Okay, that's John. The guy's name is Todef.
Yeah.
That's Ted.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that's what.
Yeah.
Because it's the only way I can get through the story.
Well, and then you get into this, what was it, in the 80s? This was a trend where they were putting apostrophes and other
Oh,
symbols
God.
into the fantasy names. And I'm like, I don't even know how that's supposed to be pronounced.
Yeah.
Or glottal stops.
I was going to say glottal stops,
Yeah.
clicks. I mean,
now
I
Rick on the other hand was smart. They did 3 names aloud and what the initials were, picking out their daughter's name.
you
Oh,
have
yeah.
to pay attention to
Yeah.
that. My poor cousin, his initials are PMS.
Yeah.
And boy, did he get a ration for that when he was a young man.
Yeah.
Well,
He hated high school. He hated high school.
I had a captain in my battalion when I was in the infantry. His name was Arthur Samuel Simpson. Now,
Screwed.
one of the things that he had to do
Yeah.
was initial the logs every day
Oh yeah.
for the arms room.
Yep.
He never used all 3 initials.
Yeah.
And when we would fake them up because he hadn't done his job, we always used all 3 initials intentionally.
Yeah.
Which would really piss him off, but it would.
He couldn't make him fuss about it because he wasn't doing his job and making you do it.
Oh yeah. And Doug brings up a point. You want strange names, visit nurseries or hospitals
Okay.
today.
Or take a look at the inmate registry at your local jail.
Oh God, yes.
Oh, yeah. And well, it's like there's a name Aiden.
Yeah.
And there are 47 names that are Aiden with a different first consonant.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Anyway, that's one of the things that obviously a lot of people
feel strongly about.
feel strongly about one way or the other.
Well, it's something you really have to pay attention to if you're writing.
Yeah.
Are names, and the other thing you don't want to do are names. Two different characters with names that are really, really similar.
Well, now I did that on purpose.
We were counseling a young writer recently
Yeah.
who had 2 sisters. One was Ayra and the other was Arya. First of all, the parents should be whipped.
Yeah.
Well,
Parents should be taken out behind the barn at Old Yeller.
or
And
better
secondly-
than the Texas sisters that were named Ima and Yura and had a last name of Hogg.
Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah, that's again with the parents should be whipped. Real life can do that.
Yeah.
It's cruel, but it can do that.
Well, and
Don't do it in a story.
I knew a lady many years ago in DC I worked with. She was a scientist and a brilliant lady. But she went by Sid, S-I-D.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked her one day on a break, I said, just out of curiosity, Sid, what is your name? And she kind of Cedar.
Oh yeah. Her
Oh.
parents were of a certain era.
Yes, parents were of a certain era and they were deep into that
Uh-huh.
whole thing and named her Siddharth.
Okay, I'm missing the
Siddharth Buddha.
It's some
Yeah.
Indian.
Yeah, there was an era there where the whole Buddhist
Yeah.
Indian New Age stuff was
And-
very hippie. The now you're cackling at something.
Rick says, older brother was Tom. I'm Richard, aka Dick.
Yes.
And Dad wanted to name younger sister Harriet.
Oh, Dad was
Unfortunately, Dad lost the argument with Mom.
Yeah,
Good on Mom.
yeah,
My
good thing they didn't have a third boy.
yeah. Harry.
my grandmother goes by her middle name, always has. And when I was choosing baby names for my kids, one of them I thought, because I think my grandmother's first name is pretty.
Yeah.
And I had run it by her a possibility of naming one of the girls for her first name, which is Ardith.
Yeah.
And she told me no, because evidently in second grade, there was another little girl named Ardith in the same class who was a nasty little thing.
Yeah.
And she hates the name to this day. And this is 80 odd years later, I'm talking to her
Yeah.
about this.
Well, it's better than her grandmother Gladys.
Yeah, no, Grandma Gladys told me not to name a daughter Gladys.
Something
Yeah.
about getting called Happy Butt for the rest of her life.
Tiff says, my middle daughter's name is Arwen. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a very, especially after the Lord of the Rings movie.
Yeah.
That's the Lord of the Rings books.
Well, the books, yes, but that's a very small part of the population. The movies
Yeah.
hit it big with millions of people.
Oh, Res One says, had a head housekeeper once named Faye, or at least that's what she went by. Turns out her real last name was Finale because her dad said no more kids after her. Yeah.
Well, I got an odd name. I got named for the grandfather, and
Yeah.
I would certainly have preferred something more normal.
Yeah.
Sanford was really rough if you were in the mid-70s as a kid.
Ian was fine overseas. He got to Texas, it wasn't so fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then one jackass in Hollywood decided to mispronounce his name and
Yeah.
screwed up my life for about 5 years.
Who was this?
Ian something or other from some idiot hit show. Hey, Ian, no, you're a fucking moron.
Well, my dad didn't have a middle name.
Mm-hmm. So NMI, no middle
Yeah.
initial.
Yeah.
So
That was actually not that uncommon.
Yeah.
I
Well-
don't think I was ever at a unit that didn't have at least one NMI.
they 7 kids that survived. So yeah, they ran out of names.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, with my kids, I tried to give them names that were a little off the beaten path, but not wildly off
Yeah.
the beaten path. Because, I mean, you run into the whole thing of how do you spell that? How do you pronounce
Yeah.
that? Can you be teased for that?
Yeah.
And you failed wildly with all of them.
Yeah, we've had my son is named for his paternal great grandfather.
Yeah.
Johann, and he's named for him. So his version of Johann has 2 N's, which a lot of people have trouble with.
Yeah.
And there are people that will look at his name and sight read it, and then look up and call Joanna.
Or Jana.
Yes, we've had both
Yeah.
Jonna and Joanna, usually from nurses in a doctor's office.
And poor Julie. Her first name is fine. It's
Juliet.
Juliet.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, her middle name is Montague.
Which again is a family name, but yes, I was playing on the whole Shakespeare thing.
Well, and in family names, and Todd mentions his family name, his middle name is Minor.
Mm-hmm.
The people that went back and used the old family names,
Yeah.
you can end up with some strange middle names.
You could end up with strange first names.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen historical records for people that were named what looks like a last name for a first name,
Yeah.
but it was because it was a family name.
Or you get people that were named. There was a period in the like the early 1700s
Yeah.
where people were named things like "saved from captivity" and
Yeah.
other really weird names because.
Well, we had a friend, Freeman. I mean,
Mhm.
Freeman is a
Yeah.
name that means something.
Yep.
Yes, very much so.
I used it at the very end of supporting Ragnarok for
Yeah.
one of the men that's introduced right at the end, because it's a name that means something. They're very specific.
Speaking of supporting Ragnarok, Cedar has a new book out this week.
She does.
Yes.
Cedar and Sanford have a new book out this week.
Yes.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
Cedar's.
No.
Cedar and
Okay.
Stanford. I saw the cover. Both your names are on there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Therefore,
So you get blamed for it too.
Okay, all the profanity in it is mine. You know, she doesn't write profanity. All the profanity is mine.
I actually had to talk to my editor, who happens to also be my mother. This is not one of those cases where having your mother as an editor makes it easier. Trust me, it is not. However, I did talk to her before she edited. I'm like, I can find someone else to edit this because there's a lot of language in there.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, it's fine. I can deal with it.
Yeah.
So she edited it.
she
was-
could, matter of fact, not deal with it.
No, she was fine with it. I mean,
Now with added profanity.
When she was young and married, her husband was in the Air Force. She's used to the profanity.
the funny thing
Yeah.
is, the only time I can actually remember Dad swearing was when he was half inside a car engine.
Everybody swears
Yeah.
at that point. Preachers swear when they're inside a car engine.
That's because you were never at the Air Force shop when your dad was running it.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The language in the shops.
I'm sure, but Dad never used it at home. I mean, well, unless he was literally.
Hip deep in a car.
Yes.
I was working at a university as a technician working on equipment. And I crawled up under this piece of equipment. And I'd overheard the boss talking to the other engineering technician saying, is this guy going to fit in?
Yeah.
He's a little clean cut. About that time, I had a wrench slip and smacked my fingers.
Yeah.
And the string of the language came out.
Yeah.
And I heard the other engineering tech, oh, he's going to fit in just fine.
Descriptive metaphors.
Yeah. We actually got in trouble for a mission tape one time because certain of our missions got transcribed.
Hmm.
My three little old ladies in the Pentagon.
Oh no.
And the mission did not go well
Hmm.
in any way, shape, form, or fashion.
Uh-huh.
So the ICS track was rather spicy.
They've been working in Pentagon how long?
Anyway, this was not them that was complaining. This was
Oh.
somebody over them.
Who had been working in Pentagon how long?
Not long enough.
Okay.
So we got duly counseled. So the next mission, the entire ICS track was in Russia. And it came back down from the little old ladies and said, we're fine with cussing. We've heard those words before.
Yeah, at the
We have
coffee pot.
used those words before.
When somebody uses the last coffee and doesn't refill it on the outer ring.
But they couldn't translate from the Russian.
It's interesting.
But you can tell us a GI of any sort, Navy, Air Force,
Yeah.
it don't matter, that's been overseas a lot. When the cussing starts from somewhere inside a piece of equipment,
Yeah.
and it travels through a number of languages.
Yes. Yes.
There are certain things that are just more punchy in Russian or German, or that's about the extent of my.
Well, if you're in the military, you learn three things in most languages:
Hmm.
where the bathroom is,
Hmm.
where's the beer,
Yes.
and what the cuss words are.
Hmm.
Those three things will get you by in pretty much any country in the world.
I used to be able to say, where's the embassy? And I want a lawyer in 7 or 8 different languages.
Special circumstances.
Yeah.
I mean,
I used to have a D&D group.
Where's,
that I-
where's the embassy is extremely important sometimes.
I had a D&D group, and once in a while, someone would do one of the things where you wind up in a modern American house with your D&D
Yeah.
people, and we'd run into somebody, and it would be, okay, can I speak to this person? And we start running through the languages. And I spoke at least quite a few languages 50
Yeah.
years ago. Like you said, drink, food, women, bathroom,
Yeah.
bed. So I got on this one guy about he doesn't have to, marry a girl just because he wants to sleep with her.
Yeah.
And he looked at me and said, "How many languages do you speak?" Because I blamed it all on horizontal dictionaries.
Oh yeah. Oh, Rick says at Nuke School, second half was classified. We were allowed to send our notes to the prototype. No big deal. Until one notebook was written entirely in Russian.
Oh,
Oh,
ooh,
oh.
there was an era. I have to say that I published on Substack. I published the author's note that I wrote for supporting Ragnarok. I don't write author's notes for my fiction very often.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I can only think of one offhand, and that was at the end of the book to explain the whole moose versus bison thing in Pixie Noir. But for Ragnarok, I wanted to do an author's note and put it at the beginning because of why I wrote that book, which was I have overheard or have seen it online way too many combat types shitting on their support personnel. And given that I am the daughter, the wife, and now the mother of support people,
And
I do not look highly on this.
Yeah.
And the other one that teased me off and probably won't come, well, it didn't come into supporting Ragnarok, it might come into later books.
Yeah.
Is the whole disdain of current-ish veterans for Cold War warriors, and saying that they're not veterans because they didn't serve during a time when there was
Especially
an
we're
active
not.
shooting war.
Especially we're not.
I am aware that
Talk to
that's
VA.
I am aware that that's a thing, and I do not like it.
Yeah.
And I have intent to write that into a book because I am aware that there were men that died in combat during the Cold War era.
Marcus
not have-
training accident.
There might not have been active declared wars, but there was a lot of conflict around the globe. And there were guys that died, and I don't know that their families ever knew.
In most cases, they didn't.
So,
When you have a accident and a artillery unit shells the bivouac area and there are 14 bodies found that did not belong to any of the units.
Oops. Yeah.
Well, they did after the bodies were found.
yeah.
Rick says the rest of the story was the guy got bored. So he amused himself by writing in Russian.
Board military personnel. Goodness.
However,
How
he
could
did
that
not
go wrong?
go to prototype. He went off to be a cryptologic technician.
Crypto wonk.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, bored and writing in Russian, I can see it
Yeah.
from there. Yes. Yeah.
And he probably wound up sitting in a hole in a ground in Germany someplace with a radio in front of him going, "Oh my God, I'm bored."
Figure out.
Oh, yeah.
Not going there.
I do have, since Mark is on here, I do want to bring up one other thing.
Kaboomy.
It's stormy
Yeah.
out there.
Again,
Yeah,
We've
it's
got
going
thunder.
kaboomy. Yes.
So Mark who?
Mark Anderson. He and I have been running the Gun Blog Blacklist blog
Oh,
for about the last 12 or 14 years.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually started by Kevin Creighton and Jay Grazio over 20 years ago.
Okay.
And it was an aggregator for gun blogs
Mm-hmm.
because that was one of the big complaints was nobody could figure out who was
Right.
blogging what.
Right.
And, we've run it total over 20 years. And the last Friday, got a notice from Blogger that we'd been taken down for community violations.
Mm-hmm.
seriously?
Are you able to get a backup for the site?
So I put in a blurb that basically said, "Hey, I'm contesting this. We've been in existence over 20 years. All we are is an aggregator.
Mm-hmm.
We put very few blogs up on the actual blog. It's mostly an aggregator. Most of what gets put up is public service announcement type stuff, things along that line. So yes, I'm contesting.
Yes, but can you pull a backup?
Well, I couldn't get to it. Pull back.
That's what I was trying to figure out.
Unbeknownst to me, Mark had also put one in.
Okay,
As I told y'all Sunday, I figured we were dead in the water
right.
because I got a second one back that said your blog has been taken down. If you would like to take legal action, you can.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, not a blogger.
Well,
Not a blogger.
yeah, but this is
Yeah.
right. So what happened?
So apparently they took Mark's or the combination of the two and they gave us the blog back.
Okay, pull a backup.
Yeah, I did that already.
Okay, good, because there's a number of different things we could do with it.
Yeah.
I Blogger is there's a reason I'm not on Blogger anymore, and when I was on Blogger, I was a mommy blog.
Yeah.
But there's a number of things that could be done with it. It could get moved over to a WordPress platform.
Yeah.
WordPress is not fantastic, but it's better than Blogger as far as the whole terms of service and community values thing.
Yeah.
The other would be to figure out hosting and park it somewhere that you're paying for hosting, but then you guys are on the hook for money out. And you can get hosting for fairly cheap, especially if you're running an aggregator. It should be a fairly lightweight.
Yeah,
It's not like
we'll
it's not a bad
figure it
rip.
out.
But yeah, no, that's the thing, which is Blogger.
I got the blogger when it's still Blogspot or Google, and Google was still don't be evil.
Yeah, that's back when I started with it.
Of course, got one of the older blogs on the internet. It's kind of scary.
Same and yes. I mean, I don't think mine's quite as old as yours, but
Now, mine dates back to 2007.
Mainline my friggin' Geritol and
Yeah.
grab a walker.
Yeah, Jay Kenton, I understand what you're saying. But at the same time, that name just threw me off when I read that first series. So that's on me.
it's one of those things that it could be difficult if he was using the full long version of the name all the time, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
So just shy is easy.
Yeah. He says Zeddy's full name is a result of a committee, a very drunk committee. That could be ugly.
We did pull it back up on a lot of files, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because it's gone forever now.
Yeah. We have we have multiple backups in multiple places.
Now, Mark, they will never tell us. They will never tell us what we did. The only thing we're going to get is what was in that takedown notice.
Yeah.
That said somebody had, called attention to the blog.
Somebody snowed.
Yeah.
Somebody got their lilac scented fifis all in an overall.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why they won't tell you, because it's not.
They don't want you to confront the people, first of all.
Well, not even the confronting the people, but they don't want you to be able to argue that they're.
They do not want a specific argument against their terms of service.
They want to be as capricious as they want to be. But the other thing that they'll usually do is have terms of service, and I think all of them do this, that are so weasel worded and vague that anything could fall into that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I always do my best to comply with terms of service in different places. But it can be difficult because sometimes it's very broad, it's very vague.
Yeah, and they change them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll tell you that they're changing them, but then you have to follow the rabbit hole to find out what the changes actually are.
The 44 pages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Rick,
my eyes glaze over.
Yeah. If they told anybody, yes, it would set up for differential lawsuit and enforcement lawsuits.
Yep.
The problem is you can't prove a damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can never chase the rabbit back to find out what actually started it. Yeah, Greg, that's the bottom line. It keeps you from suing them for cause.
Yep. Now that's exactly why they do all of that. They aren't going to tell you why. They're just going to tell you, oh, this is what you did. But not the specifics of it. And they also will make their terms of service so mushy mouth that it could be anything.
I put up this morning, 8 o'clock, I did a post on Substack, and as usual, linked it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook got pissy about that.
Yeah. Well, you told the truth. That's why.
They're not Somebody at Facebook clicked the link and read it, and they is not happy.
Well, I mean,
I still can't believe nobody took that son of a bitch out.
Boulder.
I know.
It was a gun-free zone. So
it was a gun-free zone, and everybody but him was obeying the law.
I love and by love, please take this the most sarcastic way possible.
We'll get the sarcasm mop out.
Yeah.
Get the sarcasm mop out. I love the one photo of him with 2 Molotov cocktails.
Yeah.
And in front of him is a "Please do not smoke" sign.
Yeah.
Cedar, you'll be okay.
Yes,
Okay.
I didn't inhale it.
Yeah, you were calling a Muslim rabbit, which is not allowed. Yeah.
He was setting people on fire.
Yeah.
He's rabid.
Yeah.
So do the kind thing. Somebody that chooses to set people on fire is not right in the head. He is unwell. He is ailing. And the best thing, the kindest thing you can do for him, is put him out of his misery.
Yeah,
And
Boulder
like
is
I
San
said-
Francisco of the Rockies. Yeah.
And like I said, yes, taking a human life is a terrible, terrible thing. Not taking human life can sometimes be far worse.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to. I'm going to my cousin's wedding in Wyoming, and I'm pretty sure my route puts me through both Denver and Colorado Springs. I'm
Ugh.
not real thrilled about that, but I also don't think there is going to be.
Drive the speed limit and don't.
Oh yeah,
That's what I do. I got a cruise. I set exactly the speed limit. It's when we wound up stuck accidentally in Illinois, and me with 4 felonies in the car. We set the speedo exactly the speed limit and got the hell out of that
I
pustulant
hauled ass. I was not,
hellhole.
I hauled ass. I did not do what you did.
I did not want to get pulled over and have some Illinois state trooper see the AR-15 in the back and lose his shit.
Yeah. Rick says thump thump squeak reverse thump then stop on the rise. Yep.
Stop on the rise, put it in low, and stop it. So
Yeah.
that you want to break traction on that rear wheel.
Johnny keeps going out to watch the storm.
Giblets everywhere.
Yeah.
So y'all, if we suddenly drop off, it's
Yeah.
not YouTube or our computer, it's the power.
It is apparently raining like a cow whizzing on a flat rock out there.
Yeah, it just started, and we are having flashes and booms simultaneously. So and they
Yeah.
are big booms. I can feel the concussion.
And I do not have this on a
Remember the flash to bang time.
5 seconds
So
per mile.
3 seconds per kilometer.
So it's on top of us.
Oh, it's the
Yeah.
flash to bang is nil.
Yeah.
I can still see daylight, so it's not a big cell.
Hell, a couple of days ago in Wichita, it was bright, painfully bright sunlight and raining.
Yes,
That sucks.
yes, it does that from time to time.
You think that's bad? Texarkana, raining on Arkansas side,
Mm-hmm.
not on Texas side.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, the 4-lane road down the middle of town that is the state line. It was raining on 2 lanes and not raining on the other 2 lanes.
We are under a severe thunderstorm warning.
Yeah.
No.
And
Really?
that is a lot of bright pinkness over us on the radar.
331 meters per second. Yes, Todd. Some of us do the math too. Some of us
Divide by
automatically do
3
the math.
gives you kilometer. Divide by 5 gives you miles. And drive
Yeah.
on.
Whoa!
And
see?
we're done.
All right.
I'm
We're out.
sorry. We're going to shut it down, folks, because I'm not going to take a chance of blowing this computer up.
We're out.
Yeah, we just had power flicker. So
I think they saw.
Huh?
I think they saw.
They probably did.
Yeah.
Because the lights bounced.
yep, we will somebody will see you Thursday.
I'll be on here.
I'll be here.
He'll be going under the chainsaw. Excuse me, scalpel.
Bye.
Bye.